Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the Africans Talking Sports podcast. This is episode number 30. We are 30 already, folks. We've been going, chugging along, but we are at 30. Hopefully, we'll be 100 soon. You guys will be supporting us. For those of you listening on Spotify, Anchor, Google, I know you will hear a new voice on here. That's our special guest. For those of you watching on YouTube, Facebook, IG, we got a special guest. Al's not in today. And our special guest is, I will introduce him in a little bit, but let me just give you a little background about what the episode will be about. Since we're African Talking Sports and we are native Liberians, like well, most of the hosts, we are, from time to time we get different nationalities to come on as guests. And we've also talked about our early days in the sport, how we started liking the sport, the teams we came up with. So we decided to tie that in with a special episode on this international break with our national team, Lonestar. So we got a Lonestar player here today. But before I introduce him, I will welcome my fellow panelists, Aldrin and Big Scout. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Just looking forward to getting into this. Let's
All
let's
right, all
do it.
right, all right. So our guest is no other than a key member of one of the Lone Star team that was in one of the golden eras. And when I say golden era, if anybody who's been paying attention to Lone Star, you know about Weah 11, the team that was in the midst of the World Cup qualification and beating Nigeria and all those good scores back then. But yeah, so we got Mr. Nestor Sandy here today. Nestor, how you doing?
Hey, uh, I'm excited to be with you guys today, and I hope that we have a fruitful discussion that this will be some insight of what's been happening around uh, Liberian soccer specifically, and I'll be able to. If I got the idea to like most of you guys to delve on the international side, we will. But I know we're going to be like again. I'm excited. I'm excited to be on here, and I hope that we could be able to get this going.
All right. That's good. That's good. So we're gonna get right into the show. We got a lot of things we got a lot of topics to touch base on. We got a lot of things to ask about. I'm pretty sure we want to delve deep down into that and know the insights on certain things. So Big Sky, you can take it away for us, man.
Well, Nestor, it's really good to have you on. Thank you, first of all, for representing Liberia during that period, and for a long time, Liberian soccer, Liberian football was one of the few things that we were proud of. For some of us growing up, it was one of the few things during the war that we could escape from, and go to the games and see you guys play. But your own personal story, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started in football in Liberia. That would be a really good background for us and for our audience.
Life as a whole been a kind of porous for me. I would like to. Good question. As I said, everything I try to do, I've been my porous been of a high push for myself. I started this game of soccer way back. It's literally been said. Typical Liberians, we always everyone, some men, somehow. I don't care how much your parents give you that low toughness, you always gonna have that means of playing soccer because that's one of the major side of it. But I played in the third division prior to the war, and I was able to go to Guinea. Is where I played top flight in Guinea, and I played with a lot of Liberians who actually played top of flights than I do because I knew the Keita family, one of the guys that actually play for Barcelona, one play in France as well. Came back 2007. Fortunately, I had the opportunity to start a little job with the Liberian Telecommunication, and to my good side of it, they had a second division team, which I the remaining games was 11 games remaining in the season. I played that remaining 11 games, and I had 7 goals as a defensive midfielder. That came into play where I got spotted by my friend and brother Louis Brown, took me over the LPRC Oilers. So it's like I had one of my whole means and ways of getting the Liberian national team, it was one short ways that you can find too many players talking about it because I played just 11 games in second division. I went to I got came in the top flight FPRC Oilers and where I just played preseason. And after my preseason, I was called on the Liberian national team to justify 50 players were being called by the coach then, Kadala Kuma. And I was able to make that I came up with I made the 25. I came sixth among the 25 players, the local players that was selected, and that was 2008. And since then, play on the Liberian national team for roughly close to 3.5 years. So yeah, so I know you guys will ask me all the questions pertaining why, which one of the 10 games I play and all of that. So that's how my whole soldier with all the Liberian national team came about.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's good to know that you play with the great Keita. That was one of the players that I admired when he was at Seville before he went to Barcelona, and
Absolutely.
he was really good. But so what after you got caught up to call up to play for the national team, what was your experience in joining that team, and how do you classify the team, the first team that you play with?
And this something anybody, any player, one thing what actually struck me, the introvert about my there was a huge introvert, and, more especially going on the Liberian national team after watching Josh Weah all along in refugee camp that you struggle to hustle for your low 100 francs in Guinea to go and watch this guy playing for PSG, and you had the opportunity to go on the national team to play alongside. So it was kind of bashful. It was bashful for me when I got on the team. But what happened with my experience, playing in the Guinean league and coming out of the Guinean league with that ability and I still had that little fright. So I got on the team and with the and I keep telling people, the competitiveness on that Joshua 11, it wasn't an easy task because you had all of the other players playing professional. And I came in the language for as a local player and playing defensive number 6. It wasn't an easy thing. Where in the world would you want to throw Kelvin Suber away and have Nestor Sandy to play defensive number 6 with all of the international attachment with him and looking at me? So you see, it was something that I got in that realm, and but it was just the grace of God, and with hard work and all of that, and I was able to break through that realm. Yeah.
So so wait, when you came into the team to play, you dispatched Kevin, or y'all play together in the midfield?
I actually my first game for the Liberian national team was an away game, a World Cup qualifier. We played the Vert, and I played in. We went, and unfortunately, Kelvin did not make that team. The jovial part of it. Let me just throw something in real quick. Going after I got selected on the team, the next thing was in my head was that just go and get your padam and come and have fun because what there would it be? It was grab Kelvin, grab all my friends. Just go and go get your padam and come home, and chill and just forget about everything. But on the traverse side of it, when I got to when we got to
Give
Cape
birth.
Verde, Josh Weah had been. That's when he got appointed as technical director. That was his first game when his appointee. His appointment rather. So when we got there, we got introduced, seeing strange faces like Nestor. Or he thought it was going to be that batch of gym professional players like Raza, Eugene Gray, other guys were going to be the ones all there. So when he saw, he asked Jericho a question. And I kind of ear dropped that. He asked Jericho in the corridor. He said, but who the guys? Are they caretaker or what? Jericho said, no, those are all players. So, okay, but they got to introduce themselves. So you go to him, he call your name, your team, you play for your position and all of that. So right away, it was an announcement, practice this evening. So can you imagine, you just disembark. You haven't even gotten a room yet. And you got the technical director is telling you, you got a war best. This man that you've been a strong fan of, and you've been watching the rest of your life, and you come in to Congo and have a little scrimmage with him. So we got there, we did what we had to do, and that's when the name came in. Changed my name to the hit Italian teammate Nestor. So up to now, Josh rather don't call me Nestor. Every time we talk, he call me Nestor. So that Nestor name have just stuck on me all along. And I
So
played. That was my first game I played, and I I'm being honest with you. It was tough. It was really tough playing alongside George because it's like you don't know what to really say to this guy. If even he's doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, you suppress. You don't know what to say. Yeah.
so what was some of the other senior players that were on that team besides Josh?
Pretty much we had everyone. Most of the most prolific names that you at the time with Josh Weah 11 we had. But during that game, I didn't mention one thing. The reason why Kelvin did not play that game, Kevin was getting married that was his first marriage in Philadelphia. So
Okay.
during that, he had Joe Nangbe out there in his wedding. He had James Diba out there in his wedding. So
What year was
we
this?
were
Like
like in a
around 2000?
2008, he said.
2000. No, that the game I'm talking about right now was
It
just
was
around
around
99,
99,
2000.
2000.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And the 2000, yeah. So when Joe got me, when Kevin got married, we had Zizi out there. So we were left with we were just McCall. I remember the McCall, Musa Shiner,
Okay.
yeah, James. I mean, what's the guy name? What's the goalie name?
Dewey Bestman.
No, it wasn't Pete.
That's my love.
Louis Critt.
Creighton?
Louis Creighton. Okay.
Yeah. So we just had pretty close to the rest of the team were all local players, dominant locals.
Okay.
Yeah, well, dominant locals, but we just had few professionals that was out there. But most of the guys were actually in a
At a wedding.
Amakoto who were actually then playing pro. You were playing in Greece. So pretty much we had just those names, but the dominance on that trip were all local players, and we're able to prove our strength that we were competitors, and we needed to rival those guys for positions, and that's how it came about. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's really good, man. So doing your entire stint with the national team, I got two questions. One, how long was that period from did you, and what was your most memorable game that when you relive, you say, yeah, this was the pinnacle of my international career. What's your favorite game
Yeah,
of all, and why?
the stretch, yeah, okay, yeah, good one. The stretch of, I got another national team '98, and I had, okay, I have a full games, but I just a lot of games. But I mean, full game played. I have full games. I played against Cape Verde, Mauritius, South Africa, Nigeria. But I just in most of those games out of
So
like
you were on
the
youth
game
sub.
against, yeah, I was new sub, yeah, coming
Okay.
in. But especially you couldn't break through that run with Kelvin and Ottawa McCall. Those
Yeah,
were the first
in the
phase.
midfield. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would imagine that team was still cracked, depending on they had just come from the '96 African Cup of Nations, and that was just 2 years after that.
Absolutely. You know, and you could see you could tell that that's some of the reasons why you find players playing in different roles. Like George Chipper, we had to bring him down to play in the defense just to be able to be part of the 11, because we had so many other players that were trying to find placement for them. But one of the memorable game of mine was the game against Nigeria in Liberia, and playing at home, and when you had T-Max that I had his show that ran from the evening all the way to 2 a.m. discussing Liberian, telling the Liberian people that T-Max was blunt. He was blunt on his show to tell the Liberian people that you should carry your bucket and wear, because Liberia would do it against the professionals, all of that. So it was a tough thing, really, really tough. So going into that game, and the news had broke up from camp that Nestor was going to be the one starting. So everybody came rushing on camp to inquire and started asking questions and all of that. So the media took it, and everybody were kind of surprised that a local guy was going to be playing against the likes of Owanko, Kanu, Jojo, Kocha, and we're talking about every player on the Nigerian national team were playing top flights in Europe at the time. You got this guy Sonny Olise in Germany playing for Borussia Dortmund, and just to name it, you had what's the I know Empower that was doing with Ajax 2 playing, and all those guys came down. But got on the field to practice after my section. Josh walked up to me, President Weah walked up to me and pulled me aside with his hands around my shoulder and said, "Look, I want you to know that you play number 6 tomorrow. You have you heard somebody telling you that rebel coming, you need to go?" I wish George would have said that to me 1 week before the game, but George failed to do that. He told me a day before the game. That just
It's a lot of
my
pressure.
entire day, but I had it so bad. I had it so bad because the bad thing about it is that it was hair raising. I was like, what am I doing? What the guy really want to do? Nigeria against who? And I started in my mind, because my player that I actually took as an idol that I really used to admire playing my entire life style. Anybody who watched me playing, you kind of see a little bit of Sonny Olise in me. I used to like the kind of way he plays. So that actually was somebody that I really look up to. So going against this guy was something. And I would reach to that point, I will tell you guys what really happened during that game. So you guys, to share a little fun on that. Like Josh really
I got a question. I got a question on that game. So,
so that's what happened. That's one of my memorable game ever. And that's the game that actually stood and gave me that props,
recognition.
So
recognition. Yeah.
On the piggyback on that, what would you say was your worst game?
And be honest with us.
My worst game. Unfortunately, I would say to you that I never had a worst game, because the 4 games that I played for the Liberian national team, I played them expectationally. I played them with everything. I wish I would have had a rough game, but I
brace
never
yourself.
had any. No. I'm not trying to blow my trumpet.
Man went out number 6, man.
One of the things, if I try to just kind of break them down, when I went to Mauritius, we were already qualified for the 2001 African Cup of Nations in Malay.
Okay.
So we already knew our position, but we were going to come runner up, and that was going to be a harder one for us, because runner up always playing a tougher guy from another zone.
Yeah.
Yes. So what we did was that Josh took the entire team to play some tournament in the Ivory Coast, and say, you know what happened? I'm just going to let few guys go that we cannot forfeit a game and get fined. But we went to Mauritius, and we played in Mauritius with no big names, and we beat the guys in Mauritius at 2. We came first place in our zone instead of coming as runner. So that was one side of it. We went to South Africa, and I played, and that was the game that I played free role. That was the game that I already played and knew that I was a second player, because why? I wasn't more defensive. I was both on the offense and defense, and playing against South Africa, you could tell that most of the guys were playing England. So I had an opportunity. I wish I had a real bad game. I could sit and beat myself up and say, you know what happened at school, I bring people game that.
I believe you, Nestor. Don't worry about it.
All right. Let me. You had
have that darkest moment.
You had a question, Dringo, before I ask?
Yeah, no, I was going to ask, and this is for anybody, not just Nestor. Liberia qualified for 2 African Nations Cup or just one?
Yeah, 2.
Because I did the qualify in 96, and the next one, what, 2001?
2001, 2002, yeah, I think.
2001, 2002. Okay.
So that South Africa game, in that midfield you're playing, who did you play against? Tinkler? Or he was on the team by then, Eric Tinkler?
I play against Tinkler. I play against this left back from Manchester United. And
I think I know who you're talking about.
I played against the left back for Manchester United at the time, and this other they had this. I just forgotten the name, and the striker too also. I think they have three
Quentin,
strikers. I mean, two
They had
top
Quentin
strikers.
Fortune on that team.
Yeah.
They have
Quentin
Quentin
Fortune.
Fortin,
And
the number three.
Benny,
Okay.
I think
Actually,
Benny
that's
McCarthy
yeah.
was still playing.
Yeah, Benny
When
McCarthy.
McCarthy played, he scored one of the goals,
What's about
there's another guy.
what's about Steven Pinal?
Nah, I think he's not young. He's younger, right?
He was not on that team. He was younger than that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
Oh,
younger than that.
no, I think-
Man, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Steven Pinal. Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot about
that
him.
dude was good when he was at Ajax though.
Yeah, even
So-
he was still good.
So back to that Nigeria game that you said was the most memorable. That was the most memorable game. Oh, can you please walk us through this infamous story we've been hearing about Kanu kick me? What happened between you and Kanu?
You know, Ty is sad that you have John the Bell and we're going to be to carry this thing to.
What happened?
What happened? This is what actually happened. All right. To give you an insight of what actually happened, I was afraid. I never wanted to have a bad game, right? And we played the full 90 minutes. I kind of realized that the midfield breakdown. After the midfield breakdown, it was just Marco and I, and you could hear Josh actually kept screaming my name. That's that. And when you keep screaming your name like that, it kind of pulled you, building your momentum. It's just something that is starting for nobody to live, trying to get it going. And I'm being honest with you, I was absolutely tired. I was tired that you got that place as a soccer player that you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Look, I could feel myself running. I want to drop. I want to really drop. I asked for what I drank, what I still couldn't get my mojo. So I'm like, you know what? Get in contact and claim that you want to leave the field. So that's how I went in the contact with Kanu. And I won the ball. He fired me and I dropped. When I dropped,
he said, "Kanu kick me."
Kanu kick me.
I signaled aside. I said, I want to leave. And Jericho came to me, Vava George, who was the head coach, then came to me and said, Nestor, if you really understand what's happening right now, you can't leave. So I turned to them. He said, you could see Chris have already left the field. Chris was just running on the side and just saying, Nestor, we're begging you, you can't leave. Everybody just on my name, Nestor, you can't leave. I'm like,
but and this game was.
Let me tell you something about the Liberian national team. The Liberian national team. I want to be straight up with that. The Liberian national team never just look at a game from a professional aspect. Have you seen in the European League, those guys will make horrible, terrible mistakes, and you could find them back in the game the next day? You can do with the Liberia. You ever try the Liberia, you're out of the Liberian national team. Wow. There'll be no if and in. If anybody can retrospect right, there was a game with Senegal and Joseph Amoa. Wrongfully gave a pass to Joe Nangwe before you could realize it. There was an interception, and that resulted to a goal. That was Joseph Amoa's last game for the Liberian national team. Fofi Kamara had an incident. Fofi Kamara we were in Sudan, where he was standing. He was comfortable that he would have just leaped and bought the ball, so he did not even pick up any further. The guy came from the back, and the BL 1-0. That was Fofi Kamara last game for the Liberian national team.
So you're saying people, any errors, the people
So the errors, if you want to keep your track going, you got to be careful. So we're leading 2-1. So the first question I asked myself, we got fresh legs on the bench. While the fresh legs can come in and do what they're supposed to do. I don't want to be the one to make those mistakes. The fact in it is that people want to ask how did Kanu score the one goal? Kanu scored the one goal from a blunder. Now it didn't come from me. Kanu was kicking from the 26 yard. So what was Lewis creating in the pool? The fact that is that there was a play that I wanted, when you in a game that you want to actually get this, you won't get your mojo. So what I wanted to do was that I wanted to make sure that if I could get a defensive play on JJ Okocha, it would have been better because I finished with Kanu already into almost 68 minutes. Let's say
I heard you say you locked Kanu down.
No, Kanu with all his professionalism. I was into Kanu here. Some of those words we can't use it on here because it's profane and it's intolerant to be.
So you are talking a trash in Kanu here.
Well, you got to trash. You think on the basketball court are small things. So many things were being said down there. You got to get into your head and making them forget about the game and keep looking at you and paying attention to you. Later on, you want to judge him.
And this is what I wanted to touch on because this game was 1998 and Liberia won the game 2-1, right?
Yeah. No, this game is not 98, man. This is 2001.
What was it? 2001. But even if it was 2001, Nigeria had just come off winning the Olympics in 1998, right? So that must have been a crack team.
Oh yeah, all the guys are still playing. All of them are still playing.
That must have been a crack team.
We're talking about a team that everybody were playing top flights.
Yeah,
down
they
from
had
the goalie, even down to the bench. We had Terrible West playing for Inter Milan.
Yeah. They had just won the Olympics. Yeah, 98 Olympics.
So okay, so let's get a one in me.
But can you stay kiki though? We're going with that. We're going with that story.
The story actually, I can't refine the story any more better than what it is. I just go by it. So Kanu hit my side. Was the most talked about play. That's something I will live with. That's something I will live with the rest of my life. Yeah,
oh, man, that's a good one. That's a good one.
When I visited Liberia, 2019, I went on the national team practice ground, and this guy, my former teammate, Thomas Kojo, was trying to introduce me, and I was live, right? And Thomas Kojo brought in the identical part of it. He said, I know you guys heard the story, but kind of hit my side. All of that, he turned to me. I just shook my head. After I turned my camera off, I turned it and I said, you were brave to bring that thing on here too. He said, I think will live for you for the rest of your life. So don't even bother.
It will never die. It will never die. It will never die. So before we go into the break to pay some bills, let me get the last question I had before we go into the break. So I heard you guys had a team celebration that used to that everybody practice. I don't know if everybody practiced it, but you used to use it. You were big on the cha-cha slide. When people score, the whole team would run and go do the cha-cha slide. How true is that, and how did that come about?
It wasn't actually been introduced to the team. It was something that cha-cha slide had just actually it was George who actually introduced this song to Liberia in totality. Yeah, he came down with the CDs and we played that song to one of the sections we ever had. So we went to practice and his school, we're always against the professional against the local players. So when he did that, he went and celebrated and everybody did our dance. So fortunately, when he scored in one of Lonestar game, everybody were running to celebrate. He stopped them, and when he did it, everybody just kind of roll with the cha-cha slide. So it kind of formulated like there was some choreographic being made into that whole thing, but it was nothing of such.
It was just with the flow.
No, everybody just went with the flow. So it's just something that every time we have a little section, we're always going to play the cha-cha slide and go by the identical thing into the instruction that it comes our way, and we just took it on the field. Yeah, and that's what it was. It wasn't anything that was actually planned to say go about doing this, and it just came about. And you know what it is. Every time you got this little spotlight, it kind of take toward on Liberians. So it just ran with him being like, Joe, we are 11 cha-cha slide, all of that. And it fit right for it because why? It was a celebration. for a gold scored. So it kind of just blend, it just blended real quick, so that's what it was. Yeah. But
Okay. This has been a informative part of the first part of the show. The second part, we're coming with the main question we've been waiting to ask. We'll ask that in the second part of the show, but we gotta pay some bills. We'll be right back with you guys. Stick with us. Welcome back, guys, to the second part of this show. First part was very informative, from funny anecdotes and stuff. Second part, we're about to get into the question that everybody been waiting to hear, and I will lead, and then we'll get into some other questions to lead with that. But I will pose this question to you, because this stuff been, I mean, it's been years, it's been decades, but it's still stuck with us for the longest of time. It still hurts to the day. Why? And we want the truth. Yeah, we don't want no fixing it, no fluffing it up. Why did Liberia not qualify
For the
for the
World
World
Cup.
Cup? Like
Damn,
y'all were right there,
I think it was heartbreaking.
What happened? What
That
happened?
game
Please
against
tell us.
Ghana, what happened?
I'm talking about.
all,
I'm talking about it hurting me right now.
all they needed was a draw, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
A draw. Yeah, a
That's
draw.
that's the thing. Why the minute brought me on this show?
the disappointing part of what disappointing in this question, it goes. I know if anyone's listening right now, they have stopped and really want to know what actually happened, because the name Nestor Sandy was on camp. Nestor Sandy had just played one of the biggest games for the Liberian national team, and everybody knew exactly that this guy called Nestor Sandy was going to be in the game, Ghana and all of that. But here's what actually happened. On the line, I would want to say, within my purview, I knew nothing political it has to do with the Liberian national team. That's completely out of my purview. But what I would want to say is that I may not be the one standing in front of pew and telling people the actual thing that needs to be here in terms of being scriptural and all of that. I believe strongly in God, So there are actually so many components that led to this whole, hey, my internet, this whole thing has to do. The Saturday before the game on Sunday, about
Right.
say most of you would be like, well, I don't know if you guys ever heard this side of it, but I will
we
give you
we
guys
we
the
we we,
inside
we
of what happened.
Nesta, you cut off a little bit to that part. Can you repeat that again?
You said it's
Can you,
Saturday
the
before the
Saturday
game on
before the
Sunday.
game. Can you start from there?
The Saturday before the game, President Tiller drove on our national team camp, and it had rain, and he came back on the street. He said he wanted to meet with only players. First ever in history for this guy called Benjamin Yatin to not be at where Taylor is standing. He said everybody should go outside. He only wanted us as national team players, his children, should be able to talk about this game. And Taylor pretty much did everything. He said we talked. He said, look, guys, this game is so important to every one of you guys, but this game means so much to me because I would be my first game as a president to fly out of the country and kind of honor my country flag in Japan. But what can we do to win this game? Whatever we can do, anything we can do, I want you guys to tell me about it. I'm giving you an insight. So when I'm saying we, I'm trying to generalize it, but we have people in position to speak on that. The FA president, then Edwin Snow, and the technical director, the president. I mean, the non-president did not. George didn't say anything. It was the LFA president, Snow. Snow said, "Mr. President, we'll talk about it." He said, "Okay." He said, "Look, whatever you guys could do, yeah, let me know." But the offer that he gives us, he said that another country that actually qualified, no one expected, I just forgotten, I think from East Africa or so, they were given a huge pause from the president. So he said, if they can do that and we qualify tomorrow, I will give you guys the maritime fund to prepare you for that month. That will come in. You guys will get that pause or something. So player got excited. We went on the ATS. We warm up, and a selection came about. But yes, but people try to throw a jab on George that it was all political and all of that, but I think player was just misplaced. All right, player was misplaced. People say we had Joe Namath got married. Come on, Joe Namath got
That's
married.
that's the third we heard.
Yeah,
That's
the,
the
story,
third.
the popular myth out there is that Louis Creighton got married that weekend and you guys went to party.
No,
Let
it
me
was
just-
Joe Nangbe, Joe Nangbe, Joe
it was
Nangbe.
Joe
Joe-
Namath.
it was
Okay.
Joe Namath that got married that weekend. And Louis Creighton had an accident right
Okay,
after
yeah.
the wedding because a guy ran into the car Louis was driving was a gift from Weah to Zizi Rubber. It was a gift from Weah to Zizi Rubber. And that car was being driven by a kid that couldn't drink. It was a Muslim kid that was driving an identical car. He couldn't drink. And our people didn't understand the story. Say they were drunk and he had a car accident. So psychologically, after the accident, they were hit. Not that they hit someone.
Mhm.
This
But hit the car,
guy,
yeah.
it was a representative. It was badly people didn't put the story right.
Yeah,
It was a
as
representative.
always for
It was
Liberia.
a representative in Congo Town, driving down Congo Town Hill. I don't know if he was on his phone or whatever the situation was. He left his lane just after SKD Boulevard and ran right into that car. Good
Wow.
thing no one was sitting in the back of that car. Plus that car are beyond repair. No one talked about it. But here's the thing. No media carried the actual story. Everybody just carried a story that was just going to just, denigrate the entire national team standard and all of that. But yes, what happened? From a professional standpoint, Louis had low pain. But fortunately for all, Anthony Tucker had just resurfaced and came back on the Liberian national team. But Louis Creighton had low pain. We had 2 days to the game. So George thought it wise and said, you know what happened? Even if Louis were in Switzerland, he wouldn't have played for Grass Apple. They would keep him up, and I can't allow that. We got another competitor out here. We're going to use him, and we went into the game. And I've been honest with you. At a certain point in time, what's his name? James Diva and I were sitting in a VIP. We just couldn't help it. We came down on the perimeter of the field. We just found out that the player was just actually mismanaged. Player wasn't playing with the zeal. Player never. But when we were down, because what actually, look, I keep telling people, nobody from this podcast, nobody should look at that game that was being politicized. We overlooked Ghana.
Yeah, because we're local.
Because the Ghanaian team, I'm coming to the point, the Ghanaian team, the players that was playing in Germany, all those guys were going to South Africa to play, to honor some, how you call it, charity game. If you go back and listen to BBC interviewed the captain. He said, if Liberia can come and beat us at home, 2, and they got 2 options to qualify. What are we going to do? We're just going to send our local base because we don't want to get fined by FIFA. That was the remark.
That's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse.
Absolutely. So that evening, I never had the opportunity to drive along with President Weah, then George Weah then. But Open had gone to just he disguised himself and drove there and watched the guys practicing and came by and said, look, most of the kids I practice with them in Ghana, they're all going to be in the game tomorrow playing against, or just going to go out there and win the game. So when the president came, Open did not talk. Open did not say a word to even Taylor named out Open. He named out, he said, Open, so you ain't got nothing to say, George? But tomorrow game, he said, we prepared. We just prepared to go and play tomorrow game. And that was all he said.
Confidence.
The confidence. But what that confidence actually manifested into what we actually wanted, I don't think so. Because the game started, if anybody could go back to that identical game when the game started, and I'm not going to miss my words. You getting what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We all were out of place. The entire first half were out of place. George did not play to expectation. They just felt that we were going to go. And we all know it's a story. Even if you go play, you're playing an underdog. We watch the thing in the EPL. We say that the second phase in the EPL, there's no underdog. Got an underdog can disgrace anyone. So guys,
Yeah.
when the kids came to play, the kids came to play with everything. They knew that they had the international scouts all on the field. The television crews were all there getting the game highlighted. So all the kids, people watch the game from America. I have friends who told me that they watched that game live. All those things were there. No guys were looking for ways to get their contracts. So most of the players, the local players, the guys when they play their hats off. So when we came back, they needed strategy.
Liberian players didn't care about getting contracts too, with everybody watching the game.
No, absolutely, we knew. But here's the thing: when you're down by 2, you just can't help it. So when we came back into the second half, people started saying that, oh, it was highly political. George sold the game for some political ambition. He never wanted to succeed into anything. And I'm telling you, there was no time, nowhere that George ever had anybody in our midst to talk politics. There was no time. And I'll be honest with you, when we even got back on the camp, some of the things, some of the latches, the back latches that George got, those guys came after. It was ATU that rescued, or I wouldn't have been on the show today talking to you. There was an angry crowd.
Yeah, and we know how people get in Africa when it comes to soccer and one thing. But that had to be like your biggest disappointment.
If it wasn't ATU, I don't think Josh was going to be alive today, or anyone of us on our national team camp would have been alive. Honestly speaking, ATU have to come in hurriedly and sporadically started shooting in the air, and the guys fled, and that's what happened. Yeah.
Was it Ghana that beat us?
The next day, Josh was on DC 101. He denounced his membership on the Liberian national team. It was Taylor who actually came back and apologized to George, out of the media through Edwin Snow. And that's how George reinstated himself. But George went out there and talked about it and said, I will not tolerate anybody crossing my mind. And that was some of the fun. And George even mentioned that on the show because that's how angry he was. He said, I won't tolerate anybody insulting my mind. He even used the word that will be used on your mom on the public or radio. Yeah. So that's how angry he was. He said, well, all of my resources, my time I put into this national team, don't you think myself want to have this on my record that I want to go to the World Cup? So if anybody will come up and say that,
it's good to hear this from you, because they're part of this story that you're explaining that I've never heard before. So yes,
I didn't hear it.
It's pretty good to hear this coming from you.
Maybe finally Liberians will hear this and we will get some closure. I get some closure because the story I've heard is that the wedding was on the night before the game, on the Saturday night, not Thursday or Tuesday, and they went to a party. But
the wedding was a week. They were a week before the game.
People were. I mean, I was here then, and people
said they keep the wedding. Yeah, that's why I heard.
Saturday, that's what I've always believed to be the truth. Well, I think it would have been such an inspirational story for everything Liberia had gone through the decade before that, through the civil war, such a small country, limited resources, to make it to the World Cup. It was something we were really looking forward to. But you've given our context. And you've given us football fans from Liberia some closure to it and told the truth as it happened. So I really applaud you for that.
It's wonderful to hear that story from you, because I can tell you now, after that game, that's when I was like, Lonestar got a pack. I'm done with Lonestar. Lonestar got a pack. After that game, I was like, I'm done with Lonestar. Even though I was not in the country at the time, but I was like, I'm done with Lonestar. Lonestar got a pack. Because man, I was watching that game on modem. Can you imagine trying to watch that game on modem, trying to enjoy the game and see that? Yeah, and they're beating you at that point, So, but hey, it was a wonderful story to hear from you. There were parts of it that I've never heard before, and it was good.
And piggybacking up the guys, we do appreciate you giving an honest answer. I mean, you didn't mince your words. You said exactly, hey, this happened. We overlooked them. This happened. You give us the timelines, the way things happen. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We'll lay that to rest for now. We'll move on to
And
more fun,
we're
to
gonna
more fun
advertise
stuff.
this in
More
Liberia.
fun stuff. Oh yeah.
To
Yeah,
play your name.
they gotta watch this. It was yeah, Nestor
But
Sandy.
Nestor, during your time with the national team, who would you say was the best player that you play alongside?
Actually,
Outside of George Weah.
when you're saying the best player outside of Josh Weah, are you saying that outside of Josh Weah?
Like apart from George Weah, who was the
Yeah, we all know who the best player of the team was.
Yeah, if they had to say to you, Nestor, pick one player that you want to play with, on the national team during your time from the team that you had available to you, who would that player be?
Oliver Marco.
Why?
Okay.
Why did you like?
He was.
Go ahead.
What I do like, he had a technical ability to the game, and Oliver Marco was always a relaxed player. He's someone who actually, when you watch him play, he gives you the insight of how he wants the game to be played. He kind of details the game for you, and he's not just detailing the game. He's not detailing the game from a verbal standpoint, but he's detailing the game from he being explicit. How he plays the ball, how he won the ball, playing all of that. And he was quiet. The only thing you found Oliver Marco doing is to work. That was one of the things that after I started watching the European game and I saw and I knew that this guy was disciplined. On the field, Oliver was very disciplined. You never heard Oliver talk to anybody on the field. Not mistaking it. He would you give a 40 pass, perfect pass, whatever the game was. Oliver Marco never mentioned anybody who had a game to play. Whatever he would have done to help in the process, it will help in the process. He will pat you, but you never find him coming in and telling you like other players will want to, go to you and say that they call for ball. Like you'll find like during pet talk, Josh will come to me and tell me, I mean, the man say you got to release the ball. Been saying that. But you're never going to find Marco saying that to you. Marco already don't care if you get him ball, you get him ball, he's just going to play. He just brought different ambience to the game whenever you play along with him. Even watching him play, even up to now, during his retirement, you still see Marco play, you still enjoy how he plays. I'm not trying to ridicule other players, but I just one person I really did admire.
Yeah, I mean, it's your opinion of the player you like. So I mean, everybody got their own view of the game and the players that they will vibe with on that level or they will like. So it's your opinion. We ask another player, yeah, they will call their opinion too of who they think is that player.
Absolutely.
So we can,
even if we're not asking players, we got one other guy that can be on this show that don't like CR7 for some reason. So,
I'm just controversial when it comes to that. It's not that I intend to do that. If anyone who follows me on Facebook, every household name, I'm against them. I denigrate what's this guy named LeBron James. I say, look, it's Prince James. He's a baby. I just when I say that, everybody come after me. When you go to Messi, can you imagine? But I Nestor in my own sight, my own mind, my own intellect, say the worst thing about Messi. Can you imagine? I would tell you that I hate Messi. Messi is 50.
Why?
Why? I'm just controversial because I just want to have.
So you don't be a contrarian to have to start up a conversation. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we get it.
So that's where it is. Yeah.
But you like CR7 though?
I like all good players.
Oh, okay.
I like all good players.
A political answer.
I like all good players. But I'm being honest with you, CR7 has everything the game requires. You see, I don't just talk about players and leave the hard work. I kind of go after CR7 and watch his YouTube, see what he does off the field. And that's the reason why you see injury. CR7 haven't gone for 3, 4, 5 months. No. Because the kind of food he eats, he's very, 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 very much restricted. He restricts himself when it comes to the game. He's
very particular about his body.
Absolutely. And, so
Let me go ahead and ask my final question, Nestor. I know we're drawing towards it. And since you retire, how how have you stayed in football or sports in general? Are you still involved in football in any capacity? What or sports as a whole, maybe not football. How have you kept in touch with that side of your life? Are you still connected?
Yeah, I'm still connected to football. I'm being blessed with a beautiful family. I've been married 15 years with a beautiful wife and kids, six
Mm.
kids with my wife. We do have, I do have kids out of my matrimony. But with that being said, I'm having a beautiful time right now, spending time with my family, work, and do other stuff. But I'm involved in, I kind of hold back as a philanthropy that I try to get involved with giving back to societal ills, helping in terms of giving back to Liberia in so many ways. Lastly, my last stuff that I did was I had to do a promo that has to do a fundraiser for say no to COVID Liberia, where I had most of the political strong names on that. So we I had over 30 guys that I did a script and spread it out. We had Stephen Johnson, any name you think of from the political spectrum were actually a part of that. We raised pretty close to $260,000 that we're able to give. Just within our time, there was a outcry from the health workers. So we specifically did that over to them, and we give that money over to the health workers as ways to be able to help them in the process, moving around and doing other stuff. Whatever they would have done with it, we did not specify what the money was for, but we actually gave it to them as from a team. So in so many ways, I got a foundation called Put a Smile, where I like to do every Christmas. I do have a podcast that out of my spare time, I like to play music. I go out there. It's called the Old School Gem Growth, where I play old school songs and I get a lot of folks to come on there. So just around the
Oh,
same,
you need to connect with me.
There you
yes.
go. That's the other music name there.
Yeah, it's called the Old School. Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Inbox me,
Yeah.
befriend you on Facebook. So
Yeah,
so
I didn't got Facebook, but I'll get your number from T. I'll hit you up, and we can connect on that. We can play some old school music.
absolutely.
I kind of profess to be a DJ sometimes.
No, no, I hold back on that. I'm not trying to get involved. It's a whole job. It's a whole job by itself. And, the moment you get to that. So yeah, so I do a lot of other stuff. I coach with my ability to the game. And, I coach. I kind of help the little kids out here, wherever I live. Try to transform the kids into developing the minds. If you need the game, I mentor them in so many ways. So it's like I still did not. I'm not actually. I didn't refrain from the game of soccer. So I still find myself in that cycle, and I do a lot of other stuff too as well. Yeah.
That's good, man. At least
That's pretty good. Yeah.
you be involved. So let's wrap this up on the last question. As you guys know, we have had Nestor here. He's been a pretty good guest. We'll have him for future shows. As you can see, he got his Chelsea crest on. My fellow Chelsea fan. We're
And
attacking that.
I'll be jamming to some old school on his
We're
podcast.
attacking the Arsenal guy today. So we have
Such a
Nestor come.
such a fine player making wrong decision.
Relax. The man knows ball, so he know how to pick the right team. But we'll have Nestor on for a future show. We'll have him come on as a guest for a future show to give his expertise
Absolutely.
on the
Absolutely. Anytime.
EPL, on Chelsea, and talk about things. He's a big Chelsea fan. I know you guys know I'm a big Chelsea fan, and we got a Chelsea lover that we ain't gonna get into his other teams, but I'm a big Chelsea fan. So I haven't come on for an EPL show, but we just since this is a Liberia like a Lone Star centric episode, we'll just end this on this last question. Where do you currently see the game in Liberia, the current state is in, and when, not when, but what will you suggest to happen to help it get to that prestigious place it was before? Because we don't know the direction like Lone Star going in. When Lone Star playing, we try to tune in to see what's happening, and then we get some disappointing results, and then we'll fall back. But it will be nice again for us to get involved in that, and be proud to say, hey, our team is doing this and doing that. Back then we used to listen to the game on the radio when we couldn't make it down to SKD. We listened to the game on the radio, and basically the commentators would make you think every attack is a goal, and you would be like tuned to the radio listening, like, hell, he's going to the box, he's going. Oh no, that goal, that was a throw, like stuff like that. They want to be engaged in that again. So what do you think from your point of view?
I think if you so with my honesty and that means thing, and it means some words on the Liberian national team. We have never had a better time on the Liberian national team. I would say that to you. It's always been something that have been a formality, because if you really look at it, if you want to talk about a team, you must have a foundation. We have never had that. So it always been an intro that everybody will just kind of pass through and you go, whatever you want to do, you do it. If you have a name, you got a name. If you see some other Liberian national team players right now, if they tell you they were Liberian national team player, you kind of wonder when did he play, where did he play, and how did he play, which one of the team he played for in Liberia. That tells you that we don't even have a foundation. So under the administration of Mustafa Haji, have shown that Liberia is on the right trajectory. We have never been on that. I will be honest with you, not even during the realms of George Weah ever, because if I would say that with what of some of the things those guys what we thought that would have come out of the cycle of Josh Weah and Kelvin Sugwe, James Diba, all of those names who actually played in Europe, we thought the guys were going to introduce that whole idea to the Liberian national team, but they did not. They failed us. I'm being honest. People want to say that Liberia did not put money in those things, but you got to understand so many ways that people will kind of find out to say these things. Like your intent towards this ATL podcast is not to remain where you are. You want to see another stage to this. So you got to find the roots, and the next thing you and your panel want to do is start to discuss what our goals and what our hinges and all of that. What can we do to improve? So there were never those things being held. Everybody was just looking up to George Weah. He brings down the money. He takes the team the way he wanted to take them. So he had that. I will be simplistic. I don't want to find a bigger word to it. He had that controlled, that whatever he says, the effort go by it. The youth and sport was dominant, absolutely dominant. So you couldn't find youth soccer playing any role to be able to breed player through the national team stage. So we never had it.
Because no
So if you
academy.
so if you couldn't get that, it was a tough time to even find your way to make it on the Liberian national team. There were no scouting players from any one of those leagues and all of that. We had Josiah Seaton, what they call African Dust. He led the league for 3 seasons as a higher goal scorer. But you want to call him and ask him how many games did he play for the Liberian national team? 0. We have BB Jones, who led from MAPRO, who led the league, asking how many international clear games that he played for the Liberian national team. 0. Isn't that he couldn't compete with George Weah, he couldn't compete with other players? But you see them happening. So if we had all of those international friendlies that those guys were being played, George did not need to come. We didn't need George to come down. We didn't need Cesar Rao to come down. We have made another Cesar Rao, we have made another George Weah, but Liberian people always wanted that same old name to always be there. So we never had it.
That's true.
What we're going right now, I will tell you, we are on the right trajectory right now when it comes to the game. You find that we got the youth coach. We even hire a Liberian that I play along with in Guinea, Keita. He's in Liberia right now, taking over the under 20. He came from the academy of the PSG and all of that in Canada. He had a lot of seminars with most of the players in Europe. So he got a real fat CV, and he's down there right now trying to help the kids. So you find all of these things happening through the administration of Mustafa Haji. And I will say to you,
Mustafa Haji, the player.
No, Mustafa Haji is another Liberian.
Okay, I think you're talking about. I think you're talking about the.
He said what?
Yeah, I was like, what does he have to do with Liberia?
He's the NFA director or what?
Mustafa Haji.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
right now. So
is he the NFA director?
He's the president for LFA right now. Yeah,
LFA
that's
president.
good. That's good.
LFA president,
Yeah.
right? So you see, the guys are doing exactly what needed to be done. So things is happening. You got the league, you got players playing. It gives the players the ability to be able to do work. If you played and you're a higher scorer in the league, you are given a car. So everybody kind of get the competition going. So you know that you want that 200,000 Liberian dollar. You want all of those things going. So you're gonna play with everything. So whenever you bring the accolades, that kind of worth and put players in a position to be able to prove themselves, we never had it. I could tell you when we were playing during my tenure playing on for LPRC others, we had competitors. There were always times that you could find our stadium jam packed for every game that we're going to play. But hey, we never had a means that anybody could bring in these cuts to be able to watch players to have this whole preparation to understand that those guys could go and what are going to be the incoming. So I think that becomes the evolution, and we understand these things happen, and it's happening right now. So it's a plus. So let's give Mustafa what he deserved. I know that's something that's been pending, it been in your mind because I spoke with him so many times prior to his ascendancy as the president of the FA. He had the biggest plan for Liberian FA, and God, as God we have it, he's there. He's doing exactly what is needed to be done. So yeah,
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
You guys got any parting words for Nestor blessing us today with this very insightful episode?
Well, just to say
Uh,
thank you, man. That's
yeah.
about it. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us and setting the record straight on some of these things that we have
We
been.
needed it.
Yeah, we needed it. We're gonna
hey,
try
again,
to
I
keep.
want to say it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. I'm open being back on here. I mean, that's some of the things because we actually need to kind of traverse from politics sometimes and don't deal with politics in the soccer because it really people think it holds it don't.
Yeah, man. That's
It's
why we try to keep this as laid
a,
back
it's
and focus
a
on the game as we can.
No, we don't do
unified
that.
space. All we have to do is that you gotta be as clear as crystal clear to be able to speak about what's happening in Liberia, and don't hold back when it comes to what's something that you're passionate about. I know I love this game. I'm not. This not going to breach nothing into what Josh and I got going as a friend. I play the game. I'm expressing what I saw on the field. Off the field, I'm expressing what I did see, and these things happen. So if we all could have that set of mind and then don't politicize football and just make it look like how we want it to be, it will be fine. I can tell you, the game right now is that one of the sets of players during it has certain sets of players after our tenure rather, the sets of players were all age group. But what the kids did, they 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 did not exhibit what actually people thought they would have done because those breeds we thought they would have reached the pedestal that we actually didn't go because they're with them, half of them are playing professional. But we come back to it again to say that the words I want to leave for all of the guys who actually wanting to play on the Liberian national team, it's just as easy as you want to do any other thing. Once you step fast, once you kind of stick to your plans and know what you want, your dreams will always come true. So, but not getting there with something under your sleeves and you know wanting to prove. When one of the biggest advice I want to give most of the players is that every one of them want to go professional. They really don't matter what kind of league they're going to play in, how much money they're going to get, but they just want that status behind them that hey, I'm playing pro. If that was the case, I think some of us were going to be playing on some big teams in Europe, but we just kept grounded, and we knew we were waiting for the right time, and came the time, yeah. But one good thing, I was able to leave this show without a question being asked, and I'm never going to even bring an idea on that question. Good thing that question never got asked on this show.
I was going to make a comment though, but I don't know if that's the question. But I was going to say, I on social media, especially on Instagram, I follow the county meet, and I see that the county meet is very competitive in Liberia these days.
The county meet is another thing too. Yeah, I wish we had more time to talk about the situation why the county meet is having that momentum. But I don't know. Are we trying to because the county meet thing it comes from an individual support. You getting what I'm saying? Counties come in and people kind of pump in that money. So if to say you got more money, you got more fan base, You come on here, but are they trying to decentralize the game? They did that, but are they giving the game more support that every county could hold a first division team as the way it is? Like they're doing it in England, where you got
Like
those
the
teams.
different places got
Everybody,
that. The different townships got their own teams. Yeah, yeah,
everybody
yeah.
got their own team. I mean, it's a tough thing to actually do at this time, but all they have to do right now is that one of the key thing that I wish I had the time the next time I go to Liberia, which of course I'll be in Liberia pretty soon, but I'm planning to have this chit chat with Mustafa Haji. Is he's looking at the privatization of the game, the privatize the game, that give it out. Let's see what you guys can do. We got so many business people in Liberia that are able to get the game the way we wanted to be. So if players start earning in one thing, can you imagine if you look at the transfer winner right now, players being transferred from one team to another team? We were playing, we never had transfer winner. They
Yeah.
have introduced transfer window to the game of players transferring for what, 200 US, 150, 100 US.
Fees.
It's a beginning.
FFP in full effect.
So yeah, so many things, so many good things is being introduced to the league that I really admire, and I want to say that kudos to Mustafa Haji, the president. I mean, thumbs up to him. He's doing extremely well, and he's on the right trajectory. Just
Tell,
Yeah.
Tell Mustafa Haji you want to talk to him when you got time.
I can guarantee you that, Tyron, when I'm there, I will make sure that I get you the first person I will try to make you talk to will be the president for operation. That would be the one you want to talk to. Will give you insight of. I can guarantee the show that you guys will have him on here. Yeah.
That's
Okay,
good.
we
That's good.
appreciate it. We
Yeah,
appreciate
and
it.
I think the county league is a good foundation, to grow
It
some players
is.
towards the national team. So
It
that's
is.
pretty good to hear.
Well, I think it's actually a good idea for a for to pick, because people are attached to the tribal groups and their counties, so they go to
Absolutely.
support. They support
Absolutely.
while they don't have the same loyalties to the club. So perhaps transforming the county league into the national
The
league,
township teams, yeah,
yeah,
that
maybe
would be
an
good.
idea that they can explore and have. How many counties we got now? 16.
16, yeah.
Yeah, you have 16 teams. I don't know how the logistics of moving around, but it might bring more money to the gaming library. But that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah,
Another
because
day.
you're about to start a whole new show.
No, no.
I
So
know.
Let's leave it there. I know. We got a lot to talk. That's the thing. That's the thing with football discussions. It always one discussion dies down, leading to the next one, and the next one comes up.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
Sure.
thank all you guys for joining us today. This has been a very, 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 very good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the stories. I enjoyed the banter, the back and forth, us feeding off each other. But we will have Nestor again in the future, as we're saying. And guys, thank you for coming on here. The show will be on all your platforms. Nestor will probably most likely have it on his Facebook and his platform for his fans to see.
Yeah, do that.
And
Sure, sure.
that's how it will grow from there. Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you guys for being on the 30th episode, and we will see you next week. Thank you.